I should make this video because I saw Dana release some UFC 300 fights. Dana just released some UFC 300 fights, and I could not be more underwhelmed right now. If what Dana's doing right now is the exact thing I would do if I was trying to sabotage the UFC, booking shitty fights. Now, I know no one will ever surpass the UFC. Saying that Bellator will surpass the UFC is like saying, oh, the XFL is going to surpass the NFL. The UFC has the mixed martial arts game in its grasp. But if there was anything you could do to sabotage the UFC and get it surpassed by someone else, you would do what Dana White's doing right now. Promoting Power Slap, over promoting Power Slap, which no one cares about. Pretending like people care about it, which they don't. Booking shitty fights that we don't want to see, that we know the outcome already. For example, these 3 UFC fights, all I had to do was look at them for half a second and I know what the outcome's going to be. And these are fighters that we want to see challenged. The 3 fighters that just got booked, right? Yuri Prohaska suffered a tough knockout against Alex Pereira. And he took the time off from that shoulder injury. We want to see what he can do against a real fighter off that shoulder injury, not fighting someone like Pereira. We want to see him fight someone good, see what he can do. We want to see Aljamain Sterling. He's another guy that got booked. We want to see him fight someone who's actually elite. See if Aljamain Sterling can still be elite at the next level, moving up to featherweight. We want to see if he can still be the same level that he was at bantamweight. And that requires him to fight someone who's really elite at that level. Because Aljamain Sterling was a multiple-time title winner. I don't care what you say, that's a fact. That's a fact. So he deserves to fight someone who is on the elite level right away. And this one pisses me off the most. Okay. Dana, you got him. You got him. You got the greatest. I mean, not one of. I mean, one of, sure, you could say. But in most people's minds, you're looking at, this is the greatest college wrestler of all time. Bo Nickel. Oh my God, he's fighting mixed martial arts. Oh my God, he's 5-0. And he was on a main card and he got a knockout in like less than a minute on that card. Okay, Dana. It's time, right? Is Bo Nickel the real deal? That's what everyone's thinking. Everyone's thinking, okay, Dana. Let's see him fight someone who's really good at wrestling, really elite. Let's see if he's on that next level. See if he can challenge for a title, possibly in the next year or 2. Because he might be ready for that level based on how dominant he's been. Let's see him get thrown into the fire. UFC 300, Bo Nickel, let's put him on the card. And when Dana said, you're going to be shocked at who's the number 1 prelim on the card. And everyone thought, oh my God, it's Bo Nickel. And it finally just got announced. It's Bo Nickel versus, wait for it, Cody Brundage. Cody Brundage? Who is that? Okay, I know who that is. I'm not actually saying who is that, like, literally. I know who Cody Brundage is because I've watched his last 2 fights. Before those 2 fights, it was 3 consecutive losses. His last 2 fights are wins. The one before his last win was he was getting absolutely dominated by the guy on the ground. And he was going to get knocked out in the first round or finish in the first round. But the guy kneed him in the head. He sold it. He got the win by disqualification. Whatever. Okay, but that's, in my book, that's 4 straight losses. In terms of how you fought that fight, 4 straight losses. Okay. Then his last fight was against a can crusher prospect named Zach Reese, who was 6-0 against cans. And he was still gonna lose that fight. But he got a slam knockout. He was in an armbar and he got a slam knockout. So Dana, does he think that we're done? Does he think that we're stupid? That we're just gonna look at this guy, Cody Brundage, and see, oh, he's won his last 2 fights and he's in the UFC. You know, he's good. He's good enough for Bo Nickel right now. No, Dana, we're not fooled. At least I'm not. Man, this guy has lost his last 5 fights. He was in an armbar. he got a slam knockout. Bro, that's a loss. Like, he's not good at all. We want to see Bo Nickel challenged. So these 3 fights, Yuri, Sterling, and Bo Nickel. Those 3 fighters could sell a card all day long for you if they have the right matchups. This is what I'm saying. Dana, do you want us to not buy the pay-per-view? Like, do you want us to boycott the UFC? Because if you're gonna put these fights up and be serious about it for UFC 300, don't even forget that it's UFC 300, and he's been hyping up. UFC 300 is supposed to be the best card of all time, one of the best cards of all time. I mean, it's UFC 300. It should be one of the best cards of all time. Instead, one of the best cards of all time is going to be UFC 299, and you really effed it up. That's going to be a great card. That's a card I cannot complain about the scheduling of the fights, but this one, you really fucked it up. And I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'll watch them, but the thing is, I know the outcome. And if Bo Nickel wins, Yuri wins, and Sterling wins, we learn nothing. We learn absolutely nothing. We want to learn, is Yuri still on a championship level? Okay. If he beats Alexander Rakic, yeah, that doesn't prove that he's on the championship level. We want to know, is Aljamain Sterling still on the championship level, moving up a weight class? If he beats Calvin Kattar, that does not prove that he's on the championship level. I don't understand what the UFC wants to happen. You know, they want them to win, but they think we're fooled that they're booking them against cans, and they're not cans, but booking them against people who are severely lower than them in skill level is going to convince us that they're good. No. And Bo Nickel's the worst one of all. I mean, the guy he's fighting should not be in the UFC right now. If he didn't get kneed in the head and sold it to get the disqualification and didn't get a Hail Mary slam knockout, which are 2 things that are extremely rare. A slam knockout and a disqualification. Those are extremely rare. For those that happen back to back, very, 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 very rare. If those didn't happen, he's gone 5 losses in a row. He would not be in the UFC right now. And Bo Nickel would be fighting someone actually good, maybe. But you know what? I just could not be more disappointed in the fights. And again, this is not the main card. This is not. It might be actually. Yuri's definitely on the main card. Sterling might be on the main card. I'm not sure, but you're talking. Might be 2 main card slots, and it's not the headliner, but people are saying it's Chandler versus McGregor. I don't know if that's true, but if it is, that's even worse. UFC 300 has been hyped up so much, and it had so much potential. Not just hyped up by the fans, but hyped up by Dana himself. And if this is what he's been hyping up, I couldn't be more disappointed. And yeah, I had to rant about that because this is just so disappointing. Hey, if you want to bet, it's free money because you bet Yuri, Aljamain, and Bo Nickel in a parlay, and you throw your life savings on it, and it's going to hit. I guarantee you that. But you're not going to be entertained by the fights, and you're not going to learn anything. You might win some money. That's the only way you might enjoy the card, because you're not learning anything and you're not being entertained. So, you know, you're not seeing good mixed martial arts, most likely. You most likely just see Yuri knock the guy out in the first round. You see Aljamain lay on top of the guy for 15 minutes and get the decision. And you see Bo Nickel submit the guy in the first round. So that's really all you see. and you realize you just wasted your time and you possibly wasted $85 on the pay-per-view. So have fun with that, you guys. But yeah, that's all I had to say. The UFC 300 fight just got released, and I could not be more disappointed. That's what I'm going to title this video. UFC 300 fights just got released, and I could not be more disappointed. Yeah. Okay. Until next time.